Hey, you guys. I'm Nicole, aka Pabani J. I'm the CEO and founder of Exquisite PR firm, and I am also the host of Exquisite Conversation. Tonight, we got T3mpo Tai here, y'all. He's spitting fire. He's spitting fire, you guys. I am happy that he's here. I've been like listening to his single that's out, and I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves like always. We'll do the round. Go ahead.
King Jacob, salute. Thank you for joining us this Sunday evening. And we're going to get into this heavy thing called the music industry. It's never a dull moment. But we're going to tap in.
Hey, T3mpo Tai, what's going on?
Yeah. It's T3mpo Tai. You know what I'm saying? Here from,
T3mpo Tai, I'm so
Alabama,
sorry.
but we out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
So, pushback. What's going on?
Yeah, pushback is a good summary. First time listening to T3mpo, a good summary of what kind of energy you're going to get, what kind of storytelling you're going to get. It's going to give you a little bit of all my and, it was really a warning. Let them know, like, I'm coming. It's going to be pressure. Found my niche, found where I'm at. My business is consistency. We are, you were saying we're coming. Pushback has been going crazy, so I'm going to ride that energy.
That's what's up. We kind of got a lag somewhere. I don't know if is it me or is it somewhere else? We have a little bit of a lag. I like what you said about pressure. You bring some noise. I heard it, and I'm like, okay. So you ready for the tours? You ready for the travel time?
100%. That's what that's what we're working towards.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. How long have you been in the music industry?
Probably I'd say about 3 years. I've been working for about 5, but as far as being in the business side of it, being fully involved and having my hands on everything the past 3 years, I've had a full understanding of what I was doing, and what I'm saying, we've been able to grow from that.
Okay. And when you say a full understanding, you're talking about the business side too.
That's, to be honest, the main thing I in the first place is as far as the writing, the music, storytelling. That's organic. That happens naturally for me. But that's only a small percentage of the music business, and that's the biggest thing we learn is the business side of it. So before I got all the way in there, I made sure I understood what I was getting into and kind of, educating myself on that side of it.
Absolutely. And that is the fact that you can tell me that you've been doing this in the amount of time that you've been doing it, and you have MJ behind you. That speaks volumes. I was like, he did his research. He studied. You had to have studied. She is the bomb. I don't know her per se. I know her from being conjoined and a connection. And I'm saying the only thing that she has brought us was fire. And I'm saluting her for that. Hats off to you, Queen. And everything that I've seen her touch has turned to gold. I'm gonna be honest about that. So I haven't seen her do nothing less than great.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, are you ready?
Are you ready? No, that speaks well. MJ's dope, man, and I appreciate it too because I feel like my motto has always been if I put the work in, if I put out dope shit, that's what I'm gonna attract. So a lot of times, those people like MJ in the business that are heavy hitters and understand what it takes. They recognize that, and so I was able to do that. And
okay, so there's like a little bit of a lag in your There's a little bit of a lag when you talk. We're missing some things, so I don't know. What do you think, Jacob? Should you go out and come back in?
Yeah, he should go out and come back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go out and come back in, and we'll let you back in because there's a lag, and so we're not able to hear everything that you're saying.
All right, got you.
Okay, guys, we live here with T3mpo Tai, and he's Alabama boy, South, by the way of Jacksonville, Florida. You know, down there with Lil Duval living his best life. He ain't going back and forth with you. So he living his best life. So we're talking about the music business, man, his career and how he's navigating and how, you know, he has a heavy hitter involved with him with this, which is MJ. Just go check her out on Hip Hop DX. You know, she's well connected, been connected, you know, from the radio to the blogging to marketing, branding, promoting artists, to covering award shows. She's did it all. And, you know, and she's a super dope businesswoman. And, you know, we salute her for, you know, sending us her people. And so we can definitely give her flowers, you know, for
absolutely sure. MJ, I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate what you have brought to Exquisite. You have nothing less than heat. That lets me know you put in your work. I am definitely following you. I have been following you for a little bit anyway, and then I left. I had to go out with a client, and we had a ball, and we were having a good time. I wish I would have knew about you when I was in Florida, because I'd have probably tried to see you or whatever. But I thank you, and I appreciate you for giving us the opportunity to interview your clients. Is there a link or something that you had sent to him? And right now, hi Jackie. We got Jackie here, and she is someone special too. You guys could be tuning in and looking for her, and looking for her on these panels. I'm not going to give away too much right now. I'll tell you guys a little bit about that later on. We get an opportunity to, but I appreciate you spending time coming in, tapping in, and following us. That's dope. Yes, it can. The industry can eat you up, but he seems like he's well equipped. Just the time span that he has in there. I know that he has chosen, just to be choosy and be able to do those things. He has chosen the right team. Did you connect back? Did he connect back in?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. So that industry, that music industry, this music industry, 10% music.
That's all. 9% business, 10% music, all day, every day.
All day, every day.
Don't let nobody tell you that it's just your craft. No, this is music. The music industry is ran off corporate structure.
Mm-hmm.
It is so corporate to you. You'll be scratching your head. Like it's very corporate. It's very analytical, and you have to do your homework. It's like obtaining a master's degree. You can never stop studying in the music business. If you do, it's something you gonna miss.
It's forever evolving. It's forever evolving. What in the world? So it's forever evolving. And it's always something that you have to learn all the time. I'm always asking questions. I want to make sure that he has the link and he doesn't think that he's getting
it's the same link. It's not a new link, Nicole. It's the same link.
That's what I'm saying. I want to make sure he doesn't think he's getting the same. He has to get a new link, or he said he's done it before. So
and
right.
You know, and artists also, you know, they definitely need to learn the publishing side. Whether you are a BMI or CSAC or ASCAP, or you may have your own publishing company. You know, you definitely need to learn, you know, how the pay scale is structured. What are the publishing agreement, you know, between especially if you're a label owner and your artist is under your publishing. You know, you got to learn the spreadsheet, son. You got to break down the analytics on how people get paid. Oh, he's back in now.
Perfect. You scared me.
Welcome back.
Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? We all good?
We all good. You're gonna have to have a high Wi-Fi signal sometimes. And then StreamYard has been acting a little bit funny these last couple of days, but you scared me. I was like, oh Lord, please let him come back, Jesus.
No, I had to make it work.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So what we're talking about right now is that you had just made this statement. You said you had to learn the business side of music. And, you know, everybody comes in, you know, you got the bounce, you got the vibe, you got the everything. Splitting lyrics, you can do all of those things. And for me, when I hear a rapper rap, that is an art to me. For someone to be able to put something on a piece of paper or maybe even spit it off the top of your brain and make it make sense in regards to your life.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard when I was listening to your music. I'm like, wow.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like all music is better if they allowed it to happen naturally by what they see. You know what I mean? I feel like, how can I run out of material if I'm writing about my everyday life, my everyday experiences, you know? And there was some experiences, like, for instance, I started really picking up my pen and writing when I was going through like court cases and trial and faced with a situation where I knew I'd have to go. And that became that avenue, you know what I'm saying, where I started writing, where it was like a journal. So, you know, there's some people that, you know, for that, it becomes that. And that's what it was for me. And that's what it developed into. But before I even let that passion happen, like I said, you got to understand the business because, you know, nobody cares. I mean, you get into that business and you sitting around suits and you have to understand your publishing. You have to understand what you own. You have to understand what the scale is on. No one's going to give you that. There's no tutorial, no class for that.
That's interesting. Because I noticed that a lot of artists don't take the time to know that this thing takes time.
Yeah.
What you're into takes time to grow. It takes about 2 years for your music to go around the world.
Yeah.
And to be heard. We didn't say to be liked. We said to be heard. And so for 2 years to go around the world to be heard and then judged and liked, meaning you have to have spins. And so there's money involved. And you don't want to, I hear someone say, like within this last week, like they'd hate to kill dreams, you know, they hate to kill dreams is, you know, just to come in and people that aren't in it for the love of it, they're in it for the money.
Yeah.
The perspective of the money. And there's so many people who do it for the love. And I think that they're both, that's important. If I had to do something every day, I would do this, even if I didn't get paid. I love it. I love being a publicist. The other stuff I do, I have to.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, but I do this because I love it. I love talking to people. I love giving people to the next level. And then I like talking to people and finding out about them. Like I can almost tell you like some of your life story just by what I just heard.
Yeah, 100%.
And that was like, I'm like, you know, he keeping it real. Like you're keeping it real. There was no holding back. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay. And I played it again and I understood pushback. I want to know why why is the name of that song Pushback?
Oh man, easy. Cause it was for me personally, it was clear cut. I'm pushing back. Like, all right, I'm coming. I'm bringing something because, I'm from Alabama, but being that my family's from New York, you know what I'm saying? And I lived in both places back and forth. Yeah, I'm from Alabama, born and raised, but you know, some of my music doesn't always sound like that. Some of my style, my sound, it's a little different. It doesn't necessarily direct to any one region. So, you know, initially it wasn't accepted. Like one thing about it is you can't say I can't rap. So that was never the question. But I was giving people something, you know, where I'm from that they hadn't heard before. So pushback was like that last, like, oh nah, like I know my shit's dope. And I know I'm putting the work in. Here y'all go. Here's a little piece of it because the rest is on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So prior to jumping into the industry, who was Tempo?
Ooh, for me, I would say Tempo really developed, became that light out of a dark place. Because, like I said, that writing started right before I went away. When I got behind that fence, that's where that material started coming, where I was able to talk about my everyday life, what I was seeing, what I was feeling and going through. But it's also where I developed that delivery, because in there, it's like, all right, you rap, let me see. And then it's like, okay, you good, it's you versus you. And when I came out on top every time, you know what I'm saying, it gave me that understanding, like, nah, I am as good as I think I am. But at the same time, I am a worker too. Like, I'm going to study my craft and really invest in what I do. So that's where the confidence comes from, because I know I don't fear losing. I don't feel failure. Like you said, when you love this, you know what I'm saying? A loss is a learning experience. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's why it's consistency for me. Because like I said, I love what I do. And Tempo developed out of some of those dark times to where I know what I do, I know what I'm supposed to do, and I know where I'm from. So I'm able to stand strong on what I do and stay consistent now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I like that. That confidence is going to get you a long way.
Yeah.
Confidence carries you, and to be able to acknowledge who you are. And I hear you say right now, I'm assuming that this is what you were talking about prior to you stepping out, when you say you were behind the fence meaning incarcerated.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, that's definitely a term. But yeah, behind the fence just means incarcerated. So I actually had a 10-year sentence and I served 2.
Come on.
Yeah, so it was crazy, but I don't mind talking about it. It was a straight up altercation, one-on-one, and the justice system doesn't always judge it based on that way. So I ended up doing 2 years in Alabama. And that's where, like I said, in hindsight, it's easy to say it was a blessing in disguise.
Oh no, you do not have to go into that.
Yeah.
We didn't hear you in the beginning.
Yeah.
We didn't hear you in the beginning. So when you just said it, I just wanted to reiterate that for the people. So the people who have been there, the people who do understand what it's like, the people who and the people who may be listening who don't understand what that meant. I understood what it meant.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
On every level, I understood what that meant. So I want people to be able to reiterate and look at you and look what the energies of the planet and look what God has done and where He has brought you from and where you're at right now, and the confidence, because some people are torn down in between that fence and society.
That's a fact.
Coming back into the world and not knowing where to go, but how you were processing. You said, "Well, I was in there and I was writing, and I was making tempo." You were building tempo. The word tempo itself means something of accessory. Tempo is something that you do, and that and to hear your name, I'm like, okay. So I'm liking it. I'm gonna definitely be a fan. I'm definitely a fan of indie artists. I'm definitely gonna be tuned in. And you got this mixtape coming out here soon. And I'm gonna pass the mic a little bit and let King Jacob get in and vibe with you a little bit, so I don't just be like still in the show.
Yeah, no, you gotta talk to me, King.
What's up, man? So were you contemplating on doing any music before you went behind the wall, or was you always dope, just freestyling on the streets, or how did you understand that you had a gift? Just naturally that you was gifted and that you could really spit flames, spit bars, and make people say, woo.
Yeah. No, man, it was actually a funny process for me. So for me, I've always been a reader, you know what I'm saying? So I've always been infatuated with understanding words and how they're used. So I didn't always necessarily decide I wanted to do music. The combination of being a music lover and being, reading books, from being my time away, when it came to me needing to find an avenue to kind of relax and kind of get stuff off my chest, that journal turned into bars. And that confidence is what helped me, because to be honest with you, I met the first producer. I told him I can get in there, like, yeah, book me a studio time. And I went in there, it was horrible. It was trash, because I didn't understand the creation of writing a song. I understood how to rap. I understood how to tell stories and have fun in that moment, but creating a song was something different. But I fell in love with that. So I kept coming back, and developing my craft. And when I really started to kind of find it, that's when I had to go away. So things happened the way they were supposed to because that bug had already bitten me. I was already in love with it. So when I had to go sit down for 2 years and not go to the studio, I'm like, okay, how can I grow while I'm here? And that's where I started rapping a certain way when people started calling me Tempo because I switched the tempo and I want to change it up.
Okay. I can dig it. So
Yeah.
let's break this down for the public eye, so they can understand. When you say you fell in love with the music, how deep
Yeah.
is how deep is that love with your music?
Oh, easy. I'm gonna tell you, man. When I care about something, I invest all the way in it. Cause like I said, as I mentioned earlier, this is my craft. This is my art. So when I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I'm a lyricist. I'm a storyteller. So I'm studying other lyricists and storytellers. I'm studying the Rakims, the Andre 3000s. I mean, even as far back as a Slick Rick, because again, I feel like I'm cut from that cloth. So I study these things. Same thing with, you know what I'm saying, region wise. Like I study the business of what No Limit did, what Cash Money was able to do, what Pete and Burke, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm a student of what it is. That's why, again, the confidence doesn't come from me just thinking I'm dope. The confidence comes from me knowing every day I live this shit. You know what I'm saying? That I fall into it and I study it. So I know that there's no ceiling if that's my attitude. You feel me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel you. I feel you. And so being being a student of the game is something that I think a lot of people miss. I
Yeah,
think being a student of the game, it 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 it, it becomes intellectual property,
I like that.
because when you put that on pen, and when you start to building that catalog, and people understand that you have became a household name and people all across the globe know you. Inside that music catalog, there's something that's called intellectual property, which is held at high value, and there's something that's called music equity. Just like you got a house with equity, you got
Right.
music with equity. So a lot of artists, even the ones now, they don't even structurize with a financial planner so they can pull that music equity out of there, and the music keeps evolving and evolving. Like it may be platinum in the US now, but when it's digitally remastered, it's gonna go double and triple platinum overseas.
Yes, sir.
So that music equity is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Jay-Z so rich because he had the intellectual property and that music equity. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
controlling your own master gives you that intellectual property and that music equity. So with that being said, I would definitely tell you to keep tapping into what you're doing, but find your niche outside of the norm. And when I
Right.
say outside of the norm, the music is so universal, right? And so you might find a rock artist or a gospel artist or a blues artist or a bluegrass artist or a classical artist. Like make him make him feel you at a whole different level so you can create a whole different audience. Because we're gonna take Drake for instance. Yeah, Drake, the
Yeah.
first song Drake made was with Trey Songz, then he put out the mixtape signed with Young Money. But Drake has worked with pop artists like a
Right.
Justin Bieber. He worked with pop artists like a Jesse McCarty, or Josh Stone, like a Nick Jonas. That pop money is different from the urban R&B and hip hop money.
You
That's
ain't lying.
that's different. And
Yeah.
just like they was trying to downplay him because he put out this last album was dedicated to EDM DJs and house DJs and techno DJs, but that's a whole different lane. When they take your single and they remix it in an EDM club in France or Germany, that's a whole different check, man.
Yeah.
So artists, especially artists that's black and brown, they have to think outside the box because music is a universal language and you need that universal dollar to go in your pocket for sure. So
That's a fact. No, that's a fact. And I wish more people heard what you just said because for me, again, like I said, I love music. Like I love hip hop, but I love music. And like for me, I started studying by going to these festivals. And when I go to these festivals, you know, I'll see a J. Cole and a Kendrick Lamar, but I see 100,000 people for some of these EDM DJs and some of these other people I'd never heard of before, because there's a lane for that. You know what I mean?
Right. So for you, tell me about the creation of your single. How was it created? How did you format it? And how well did you and the producer connect at first? Was it a natural connection, or did it happen over a period of time as you was recording the single?
No, it actually it's funny you say that, because it did happen over a period of time. Because so for me, there's advantages and disadvantages of not living in certain places or being in places so long. But the advantage is that I get to go out and meet these other producers and kind of find the sound that I want and pick it out myself. So this particular producer's 400 Tango, he's out of Atlanta. He reached out to me. He heard my sound and sent the beat. And I know when I hear a beat and I'm able just out the gate come up with something, I'm like, yeah, this is it. I had it done in a couple of days, and then we were able to kind of take our time and play the music and see where I could grow, see where I could change something up and fix the sound. But it happened as smooth as I've had any record happen. So ever since then, you know, I've kind of been just in that groove, just creating and going from there. But as far as that, I always have that story. That story comes to me first, and then that energy and that vibe of that beat kind of comes in.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
If you can make a song, who would you like to have featured on there if you can work with someone?
Man, I can't. That's probably J. Cole.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
I got a lot of respect for him for his all around game, for whether it be how he does his business, how he carries himself, how he's able to consistently be himself, but still dominate. Like he's still putting out straight heat. So for me, if I can, you know what I'm saying, when you ask me that question, it makes me envision a studio session and actually being hands-on working with that person. And I know there's some people you can have a conversation with and come back with a lot more. You know what I mean?
That was just enough. I'm a firm believer in thoughts create reality. So manifestation. So you just said that I seen the studio and I already visualized it. That already lets me know that I'm gonna be looking for something here. Maybe in the next few years you might have something popping. With MJ ain't no telling. I'm just gonna be honest. You know, we done looked up and seen something.
Hey, we all working, so I'd expect
it. Yeah, she is a beast. So just with you, tell me, since we use the word manifestation, oh, hey, I have my mentor in the building. Wow, interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up there. This is my mentor. When I was in the radio and all those things. So she has something to say to you.
Oh, that's what's up, Cheryl. Thank you.
The screen, yes. She said she sees you producing film and much, much more. Stay positive. It'll create longevity in your career. And she's really good. She's really good at telling you what she sees. This is what she's seeing down the line.
Well, Cheryl got a good eye, because that's actually, I try to stay focused on the steps in between, but down the line, that is something I want to do. Because like I said, I love being able to write and create. So I do see myself down the line being able to do that. So yeah, Cheryl got a good eye. She knows what she's talking about.
Yes, thank you. Hey, Cheryl, I love you.
Yeah, I appreciate you tapping in.
This is the creation. Oh yeah, when you talk about manifestation and we talk about just getting into a zone, being placed where you are right now, think back, take yourself back, and then push yourself up forward mentally. Tell me what that feels like. Is it believable? Do you see what's coming? And can you tell me, if you have to step into it and feel it, what do you feel like? Because you keep smiling and your smile is genuine. It's genuine. I'm over here smiling because you're smiling.
Yeah, man, I do that a lot, so it ain't gonna change. You're gonna see that.
That's what's up. And that right there is a power that you have to have, and I believe in that. And it's necessary and it's contagious. Whatever you have going on over there is contagious.
Thank you.
Yeah, what do you feel? What do you feel when you think about the next journey with this mixtape? I'm saying, because that's what's next for you. So what do you see for the mixtape, and why did you name it that?
Oh man, so as far as the mixtape, I'm excited because, like I said, it's more of what I naturally come from, as far as just giving actual just bars and just making sense and giving you something, you know what I'm saying, where I can just rap and really flex my ability, which is rapping, bars, lyrics, something to listen to if you really, you know what I'm saying, a fan of the art. And that's why I'm excited with this Bar Really mixtape, because it's gonna be one of those things that, you know, like it or not, it's gonna be undeniable. It's like, yeah, he rapping his ass off. Yeah, he's an animal. So I'm excited about that aspect of it. But I've also learned same thing like business side, to create a song, to have a certain format, you know what I'm saying, for it to be placed in certain places. So we balancing between that, and I'm learning that, and I don't mind saying I'm learning it, because that in itself is an art too. And kind of go back to what you asked earlier as far as how I feel to see where I come from and where I'm at. I'm just a real driven person, so there's times where I'll kind of overlook small things that I've accomplished. But at the same time, you know, there are days where, you know, I kind of reflect on where I was at just 2 years ago, where I was at before that. And it's kind of like, yeah, like, you told yourself this would happen. So, you know, stay focused. But that's the biggest thing I tell myself, stay focused. You know, it ain't over yet, you know.
Absolutely. Jake?
So, with using your art form, how do you plan to impact the community through your art form, and with impacting the community, you know, what's some things you want to do?
I appreciate you asking that, actually, because I feel like that's the reason I'm going to be successful. And that's the reason I do this. Where I'm from, a small town called Monroeville, Alabama, 251. Shout out to them. But it's a mentality thing, especially in the whole state, of us not getting out and us not having things. And a lot of times we end up shooting and killing each other over those things. It's not even much. You know what I'm saying? It's people from my town that haven't even been to the biggest city in Alabama. So a lot of times the mentality is the issue. And especially being behind that fence, I got to see that. I got to see people doing things for the smallest amount, you know what I'm saying, of whatever it is they wanted, or for things that didn't really matter. So for me, even in my music, when I talk about where I've been, the mistakes I made, or the thoughts that I have, it's real and it's organic, so that way people can understand and they can feel it. But it's also never me encouraging anything, because, you know, a lot of times I think we talk about the beginning where people have these ops and they have these problems, and then we talk about the end where people come home, but we don't talk about that consequence in between. We don't talk about, you know, that time you have to do by yourself. And as far as that, we're actually working to start up a nonprofit for prison reform, because a lot of the problems we see, it's incarceration and not rehabilitation. And that's really what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? There's supposed to be some type of growth there. And I'm sure y'all agree, when you see people come out, they're either better or they're worse. But there's no in between. You know what I mean? And it's because you learn how to either be a better criminal, or you learn that this ain't the place where you can be a better person. You know what I mean? So that's a direct thing that I want to be able to jump on immediately. And, you know, to make sure that whether it's in the music or out the music, that I have some effect on my community specifically for that.
Okay. It's funny you mentioned that, man. I had a program that somebody invited me to some years ago. It was a mentor program, and what the young man had me do is he had me write letters of recommendation to the governor to help felons get their record expunged. And the word had got out for a little bit that that I was helping these guys and finding them jobs, and you know, sending them to guys I know that's in the trucking industry, in the beverage and food industry, and word had got out. And not only did people of Black and brown come to me, but people of the other races came to me too,
Yes,
whether it was
sir.
Chinese, whether it was Puerto Rican, whether it was white people, and
Yeah.
they will come to me and say, if it's anything you need help doing, just let me know. Anybody you need to be introduced to, just let me know. And then what people don't know, it's a lot more white males that's been incarcerated in the last 20 years than black males. They just don't talk about it on the news, but it happens a lot. It happens a lot. Maybe not in the states that we live in, but in other states.
No, you right.
You know, yeah. So it happens a lot. So that that prison reform is much needed, and that's something that could really travel nationwide with, especially if you're building the right program that can get out to the masses. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. Because a lot of people, when they say, "Well, how is prison supposed to reform you? What type of programs do they have in there, or what type of programs do they have when they get on the outside, when they hit the bricks again? Who is
Mhm.
helping them? Who is going to get them out of the halfway house and give them a job? Who's going to give them some training? Whether it's a brick mason, whether it's um, HVAC, whether it's
Yeah,
truck
that's right.
driving, or whether it's laying asphalt. Like, what type of trade are you willing to get? And
Mhm.
you got to really connect with different companies so you can join with them, because it's a whole lot of people that own companies that'll love to be a part of that,
That's
especially
right.
if you're going to get training and funding through the state, which they do it a lot now with what we call one stop, which is like job services and vocational rehabilitation centers and stuff like that. So they do have some programs, but they don't tap into our community to tell us about it. And they've had these programs for more than 40, 50 years,
That's
but
right.
we just didn't know anything about it. So the resources is going to help, but you pushing forward and working hard and striving to be better, and just letting somebody know that you have somebody out there that can provide resources for you. That's going to not impact your life, but it's going to impact on the way people look at your art form and your music as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, that's dope that you was doing that. By the way, that's something that I'm sure you know, but that really changes because a lot of times people, even when they come home, they have that mindset like, I can't really work anywhere, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, and it is those opportunities. But again, that mindset kind of holds them back from even having the conversation or knowing who to ask or what to ask to kind of further themselves from that. So nah, salute you for that. That's dope.
No doubt. And I just got thrown into it, and I didn't object. And
It's okay.
what was happening, a councilman told me. He said, Jacob, they're not incarcerated anymore. They still have a voice. So they can come to the town hall meetings. They can come to the county council meetings. They can come to the the school board district meeting, because most of them still have kids in school. And
Yeah,
so just because you got into some trouble don't mean that you should take a blind eye like no one will listen to you. It's plenty of people that are listening to you from your experiences, because they don't want these kids that's in grade school, middle school, or high school to take on those experiences. So they will listen to you. We used to have a program when I was in school called Scared Straight, where
yeah.
yeah, bro, yeah, bro, and I can tell you this right here, bro. After hearing some of them brothers speak on what they did and how much time they've received, and what 5 minutes of a wrong turn or 5 minutes of hanging with the wrong crowd did this to them. And I think that program needs to be put back in the school, because when I was in school, I can tell you the date and time that they came every year. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
cause they came faithfully, and man, and then it was just something that I think that was needed, because those brothers didn't have to do it, but they did. So that's still a form of helping people. So and I think with today's society, I think they definitely need to be back into the school system.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think especially too, especially youth, like they can respect when they hear it from the source, when they hear like, okay, this really ain't cool like that. This really ain't dope. And just to kind of, you know what I'm saying, before we move on, when you mentioned as far as, you know what I'm saying, what they can do and being educated on themselves, it's also understanding what works for you and what works against you, because a lot of times we have that mentality because, for instance, when a felon comes home, he decides to get a job, taxes come out his check, but he has no right to vote. And legally, that's taxation without representation.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that, in the grand scheme of the law, is illegal. But they have to understand, you know what I'm saying, how to work around that, how to, what to even ask or what to even fight or what to even apply for, because most of us don't know that you can get your rights back. So, you know what I'm saying, just doubling back. That's why I did, you know, compliment you on that as well, because a conversation could change it all.
Right. So, like Nicole Pavani always said, she said, it's time for us to sit down at the table with some real people.
Yeah.
It's time for us to get into some rooms with real people.
Yeah.
You know, it's time for us to hold citywide, statewide, and nationwide, you know, public figures accountable. You know, politicians accountable, because that's the thing. You can have a Congress or a Senate been in office for 25, 30 years, but they never been held accountable.
Right.
And they playing golf and taking vacations and
80,
but they
90
have,
years old. Like, really? Let us get in there. Let somebody that got some that know this in between. That's a balance. You know, let somebody in there that's been there, that's done that, that's been there. It's easier to talk to someone who's been there and done that than it is to talk to someone who's read a book and who's dictating to you about what they read.
Yeah.
Someone like you who's been there, done that, read about it, overseen it, overcame it, and can tell you how to avoid the narrative, because a person doesn't want to talk to you who you don't understand their pain. People don't seem to think that because you have this big house and everything that you've acquired, you were never there before. So when you start breaking the story down and informing them that you've been there, you know what it's like to wake up hungry. You know what it's like to figure that I'm going to get rich or die trying. You know, when they understand that you can relate to that, it makes the conversation a lot easier. And then there's hope out of that conversation.
Right.
You don't have the capability of having hope if you can't relate. That's just those are two things in the party. And when someone's 70 years old or 80 or 90 and they're still in the White House and they're still, you know, in the Senate seat, their mentality isn't, you know, you have to keep going. You got the, you know, the millennials, and then you got the Gen X coming. You got to stay in tune. So
that's a big point that you made, because if you look at the average age of the Senate, it's like 70 years old. And if you're 70 years old, that means that you were alive during the civil rights times and all that.
All of that.
And if you're a 70-year-old white person, it's hard for me to believe that you were marching for civil rights at that time. It's a lot easier for me to understand. You're probably sitting there staying quiet. So with these people creating our laws and our justice system, what do we expect? And that's kind of goes on what y'all talking about as far as the community, starting up from a smaller point, you know what I'm saying, working on our communities, working on our politics from the community up, and, you know, building that base.
Foundation.
For sure.
Foundation creates representation.
For sure. Yes, sir.
For sure. So how can you represent anything or anyone if you don't have a foundation built? You know, you have to start with that. And another thing, man, I just salute you for tapping into the dialogue. And I can just be honest with you, man. Most rap cats that's in the hip hop industry, they stay away from these dialogues. They don't want to talk about that. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just keep it always real with you. They don't want to talk about this. It's too much over their head. They just want to talk about their crap. But I tell people all the time, if you support your community, they'll support you. If you support your community, they'll support you. You know, like I was yesterday, me and my brother, we went into town, right? And he got a call from his wife. And he said, man, you know, Radius Baptist Church is getting everybody free gas that come to the Tire and Oil gas station. the church paid for everybody's gas.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And I know the pastor to go to that church. He's a white guy that my brother played football with, and he always give back, man. Like he's the type of person that if you lose a loved one in the family, his church is gonna donate $300 to $500 to you. You know, if it's some kids, if it's a single mother and kids ain't got no clothes, the pastor buy the kids school clothes for the whole entire year. Like that's his way of giving back to his community. And so, you know, I said to myself, you know, cause he is the first multicultural church in the small town I'm from, of Saluda, South Carolina. Like he don't see color when it comes to serving God. He want everybody in his church, and he promoted like that, pass out flyers, all that, bro. He don't believe in churches being divided. His thing is if people can fight a war together, then they can go to church together. Mm-hmm. Hey, I can't be mad at him for that, man.
Right, he's right. Right. You just said it, fighting is the only thing that we quote unquote do together. You know, this separation of church, politics, you know, spirituality, science, whatever they can break it down on, it's a separation. So yeah, I think it needs to be reversed to where, you know, fighting should be the last thing that's done. But we, you know what I'm saying, how to live together, how to make money together, how to create, you know what I'm saying, longevity and financial, man. That's where it's at.
Right.
You would definitely be a person that I would love to have on you remind me of a substance between Chance the Rapper, and I'm not saying as far as your music, right. I'm saying as far as your intellect between Chance the Rapper and Common. This is what you give me the vibe for that. And the mentality, and also, you know, it's a couple of other people that rappers, indie artists I've met that are like you, that if we can get you guys together and throw a hot tour concert, blow it out of the water and get that community together, I wonder what type of magic we can make happen. That would be very interesting to me.
And this just don't need to be any concert. This need to be a concert at all high schools across the nation.
Yeah.
Reaching the youth.
Yeah.
And your genre of audience is what, from 17 to 40? What's your genre?
I think, you know what I'm saying, just looking at the numbers, usually like from like 17 to like 26, 27, something like that.
Those people that are right there, and that's that time of, yes, that's the time of make or break. That's that just living life a little bit and knowing that those are the times. I can remember when I was 23 and I'm like, okay, I got maybe 2 more years that I can do this club, this, and then I can come back from that. And I was thinking that at that time, and reality of the matter is that time waits on no one. The sun is going to come up. The moon is going to come up. These things are that it's a select order to this thing. And in the music industry, it's a select order to these things. It's some things you have to go through to get to the other side. If you don't go this way, you're not going to get over here. And the pathway that you're going right now, the strategic way, and I'm going to say strategic because in order for you to be where you are, like I said, with the connections that you have, and you just said you were doing this for 2 or 3 years. We got people talking about, I'm doing this for 15 years. And they're just getting right here, seriously. And they're just getting right here. And that's real because of strategy and reading and following order and doing things a certain type of way. And the people that I see, that I can see here in the future, and I can already put it in my mind where I see a person at and get enthusiastic about it, you're definitely on that list. Because the ones that I have talked to that are legends have the personality like you. Very humble.
Yeah.
The integrity is there. They're like you. They're not on here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and that ain't how real rappers talk. That's not real. They are serious. They have their funny times and their moments, but when it comes to the real and knowing the community and knowing what's going on, you're woke, is what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm glad that you're here and that you're woke. And so with that being said, taking it back to your music and your vibe.
Yeah.
You're gonna put out a mixtape,
Mm-hmm.
and when you put out a mixtape with the record label, and I'm gonna let you say the record label.
Yeah, SKYIV Records.
Come on, SKYIV Records. I want to give them that promotion, salute them.
For sure. Shout out.
Yes, put out your mixtape with them. Have you had any prior mixtapes, or will this be your first?
No, this will actually be my first. Yeah.
You ready?
Salute,
Oh
man.
man, like I
ready?
said, this is what comes to me. This is what I do. So this is like letting the dog out and saying run. Like that's nothing, man. It's the mixtape is exciting for me because I feel like that's part of that. Even though mixtapes are created, I feel like that's still a part of the art that people think is in the past. And I just think it's not many people have the ability to do it the way it used to be done. You know what I mean? So
you said like it used to be done. Okay, Run
yeah.
DMC. We talking about,
Man, to be honest with you, I just mean like rapping, like really just spitting. You know what I'm saying? To where it's not just saying random shit. It's not just punching in every 6 hours with some 2 bars you just thought of. No, I'm talking about we rapping, we telling stories.
You talking about real lyricism, like when Lloyd
Right.
Banks was dropping the mixtapes.
Yeah, like what are we doing
like
if
when
we not doing that?
Joel Santana dropping the mixtape. Yeah, you talking about that real where you got a fire DJ on there that's going to put the mixtape out everywhere because he's hosting and the music is fired. So you talking about the real.
Yes, sir. A real mixtape. Yeah.
Yes, and I can't wait.
Not just some random songs together. So yeah, we hype about that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Like I cannot wait. You got me over here excited. I'm telling my kids, get this mixtape. Like y'all
For sure.
come on, y'all come on, because just to see, I just see what it is. I see the vision. And again, MJ, salute to you. You got a piece of work on your hands. It's like you're gonna have her busy.
MJ knows already. She's on it. She's the one for the job though. She's on it. So no shout out there. I appreciate it.
Yeah, she definitely gonna be working.
And if I had any advice to give you, man, I would tell you, man, when you in that studio with that engineer, that producer, man, learn those spreadsheets, understand what the spreadsheets are, because that's gonna save you a lot of headache when it comes to, the money getting divided up. You know what I'm saying? As far as the artist, the producer, and the engineer. And once you pay for the studio time, they still want to be able to get points and royalties off engineering, because you got some Grammy Award winning engineering, like my man Demolish Beats. I know him personally. He's a Grammy Award winning engineer. He produced for Tech 9. You know what I mean? So I know him personally, man. So yeah, make sure you get them spreadsheets, and if you don't do nothing else that I ask, man, make sure you get your music license, because Pusha T was just on the Breakfast Club not long ago, and he said 48% of his music earnings for his career came from music licensing, jingles, TV, film, video games, documentaries, all that. And you also have the type of voice where you can definitely narrate some movies and use your voice to get you paid as well. Not just through song, but through movie narration, voiceovers, all the above. Tap into that.
You can.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate that. And I'm with you. With that being said, shout out to Blaze Unlimited for the licensing and singing deal that we did. So we actually are working towards that. So y'all giving me the right jewels. Y'all giving me the right game.
No doubt, no doubt.
Really am excited. They said you had a great interview going here. We appreciate you, Cheryl, and she gonna keep it real. Like I've only known her to ever keep it real. Radio host out of well, I'm not even gonna say radio host. That's not even the truth. She runs it. She's a radio. She runs the building. She is the lady who says yes. She's running stuff. So we might be able to get you connecting in some type of way. We don't know. We'll see what we can talk to MJ about and what MJ can say. But that's here. I would really, really love to know when you come here, when they bring you guys here. I would like to know because I'm in the building. I would definitely want to come. I support the team, however it may happen. I would really, really like to know that. I got a couple of artists on my team too that are my clients. And y'all got the same vibe. I mean, he's talking the same language you talking, and he's doing his thing. I would really, really love to know the next time you are performing, whenever your next set is. Because I might be down there at that time, and I would like to know. So I would like to pop my head in the building. Hey, what's going on?
Of course.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yes, I'm definitely in the business of, hey, what's happening? What y'all doing in here? And can I help in any way? Tell everybody how they can get in tune with you. Let them know.
For sure. So yes, the one thing about it is when you pull me up, social media platforms, all major music platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, it's Tempo Tai, T3mpo Tai. The good thing is that there's only one and only Tempo Tai. So when you pull it up, that's me. And secondly, the Bridge Management, shout out to Bridge Management for booking and anything else as far as working. I am open to working with artists as long as we just making dope music. So, again, appreciate y'all for having me. Before, y'all let me out. I do appreciate, any opportunity to be able to speak, and especially speak on something real too.
Thank
you. Salute, King. Salute, King.
We appreciate you again. I want to appreciate and tell everybody I appreciate them that's behind the scenes working for us through the conversation. Exquisite Conversation will be elevating, and we'll be doing some upgrading here. Thank you to Mentor for popping in the building, keeping me on my toes and keeping me standing strong. Right? That's like I said, it was like a school teacher thing, wasn't it? I was like, oh wait, did she just pop in the building?
Yeah, I saw you tighten up real quick.
Let me sit up. I know she told me don't be leaning over like that. So yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's one thing she said. You're on camera. Don't come in here like that. So I want to thank you for popping in the building. I salute her, and I salute everybody else that's behind the scenes that's working. MJ, again, I tip my hat to you, Queen. Thank you so much. And yeah, we out. We'll see you guys soon. Oh, but 5 to 6 months, I want to talk to you again. I want to see what you've done, especially after the mixtape comes out. Don't forget me. I liked you too on all sources. I said I liked you on everything. Tap in with me on Instagram, Twitter, everything. I'm following you.
Hey, I appreciate that. Well, plenty to talk about. Thank you.
Peace.